are going to get started with how do we fuel our body with simple nutrition and exercises that will help fuel our day, give us energy without spending boatloads of time in the gym or in the kitchen. So first and foremost, regardless of your weight, we still need to eat healthy and we still need to work out. Healthy weight, we still need to care because we are aging. The more we age, the more we need to think about our internal health as well as our outside health, external health, that's the word, external health. It can be more difficult to lose weight. It can be more difficult to lower blood pressure, cholesterol, sugars. It becomes more challenging. And as we age, quality definitely becomes more important than quantity. When we were younger and we could work out, we could do anything we wanted and we still felt fantastic and we still had a ton of energy throughout the day. As we're getting older, we do tend to slow down. We may not have as much energy or time to work out or fuel correctly. So the quality becomes more important than the quantity. And then also the biggest point moving forward is think nutrients. High nutrient foods, high nutrient exercises to help fuel our day and get us to become a little bit more healthier, whatever your goals may be. If you are a healthy weight, there is what's called a skinny fat and then also an overweight obese. So both are detrimental to our health. Both increase heart disease, cholesterol, diabetes. So we still want to make sure that even though we are the correct weight or a good BMI, we still need to strengthen our bones and strengthen our muscles. Overall, if we are a healthy weight, it does help decrease diabetes, it decreases heart disease, blood pressure, cholesterol, stroke. It helps reduce some risk of cancers. It helps us decrease the loss of mental acuity. It increases our energy. It increases our sleep. And it also helps with digestion. So overall, eating healthy and exercise can help improve our internal health as well as our external health. So the first thing, the most important thing that we all have to understand moving forward is how do we increase our metabolism? Because as we age, our metabolism decreases starting at the age of 27. I know most of us thought that our weight or our metabolism would decrease. Most of us thought that our metabolism would decrease after our 40s when we're over the hill, but that is not the case. Our metabolism starts decreasing at the age of 27. So what is our metabolism? It is the process that our body performs to burn and use calories. It is that whole calories in versus calories out. But the problem is our metabolism is found in our muscle. So as we age, our muscles start to decrease, regardless if we work out or not, just by age alone. So as our muscles decrease, our metabolism decreases. Therefore, we do not burn as many calories as we would like as we age, which is why eating healthy and exercise becomes crucial as we age. The faster your metabolism is, the more you can eat. So some people kind of walk around and they say, I have a slow metabolism and that's why I gained weight. And I am here to tell you today, you can change your metabolism all by just changing your exercise and your eating habits. It's not easy, it's a lot of hard work, but we can change our metabolism just by increasing the muscle mass on our body to help us burn fat, leave the muscle on the body to burn more calories. One of the things, intermittent fasting is very popular right now, and it's this idea that you go long-term without eating, so you can get into your fat stores to burn, and there is a lot of truth to it. However, when you go long times without eating, fasting, you do tend to burn muscle mass. So if you are a type of person who is currently not working out and you don't have a lot of muscle on your body, and you start intermittent fasting, you're gonna burn more muscle mass. You're not gonna get into those fat stores right away. So it's kind of, you have to ask yourself, how much muscle do you have on your body to burn? Because if we go long periods without eating, we will burn our muscle first, Then we get into the fat stores. There's a lot we can do with nutrition to help us with this, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But the idea is to always keep your body burning fat, leave the muscle on the body to burn more fat. That's one simple trick that we can all do, is increase our muscle mass on our bodies. And also this whole calories in versus calories out, we have been taught that if we eat less, exercise more, we can lose weight. Some of us, it has worked, and for others, we're struggling. And the reason is because there isn't a healthy balance between eating and exercise. So if we eat less and exercise more, we burn more. So a lot of us don't eat enough. We don't eat enough to fuel our body. We don't eat enough to fuel our exercise. We don't eat enough to have everything that our body needs to take place on a daily basis to help fuel it correctly. So for example, a woman over the age of 50 who is inactive, who does nothing besides sits, barely walks during the day, will burn 1,600 calories a day. If you are in a coma and you don't even move, you burn 1,200 calories. So some of us will decrease our calories below that 1,200 count, which doesn't even fuel the body on a day where there's no movement. So we need to increase our calories to fuel the body correctly. For a man who doesn't do a lot of physical activity, he needs anywhere between 2,400 to 2,800 calories a day. An active woman over 50 needs 2,000 to 2,200 calories a day. A man who is active over 50 needs 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day. So as you can see, we need more calories than we thought. Fad diets, I just threw that in there. We are going to talk a little bit about how to eat to fuel our bodies. The fad diets, they like our attention. We like to see rapid weight loss. But if we see rapid weight loss with a fad diet, chances are we are losing water weight and we're losing muscle. And the reason why fad diets work is because we're burning that muscle. And we need that muscle to stay on our body to help us burn more fat longer as we age throughout our lifespan. Fad diets, not all of them are bad, but one common denominator in all fad diets are vegetables. So, and we're going to talk a lot about vegetables in just a minute. So, we need to eat. We need to eat more, but we need to eat more nutrient-dense foods, not just empty calories. The other thing that we tend to do is not only do we restrict our calories, we also tend to overthink exercise. Some of us may think exercise is like a marathon, or we have to spend an hour in the gym. Everything we do is considered a physical activity or an exercise. Everything we do burns calories. And a lot of us don't even take into consideration walking the dog, washing dishes, gardening. So just the more you move in general, the more you're going to burn those calories. So if you are at a desk all day long for 8 hours, by taking a couple walking breaks to break up your day will increase your calorie expenditure during the day. It's not so much about how long you went for a walk, it's moving the body. People who fidget while at the desk will burn 200 to 300 calories more than the person who doesn't fidget. If you talk and use your hands while you're talking, you will burn more calories. So there is the idea that exercise is strength training and cardio, and we're going to get to all that in a sec. But the other idea is how much are you moving during your day? How much laundry, washing dishes, cutting the grass, walking the dog, all that helps burn calories to move the body, to build that muscle, to burn more fat. Okay, so what can we do to help us get more muscle mass on our body and get our body healthier in terms of health, chronic diseases, as well as strength training or strength? The first and most important nutrient that all of us need is, anybody guess? I know you're all muted, but if you guess, it is water. Water is the most important nutrient that all of us need. We cannot live without it. I think we only last 3 days or something without water. But most of us are dehydrated. So your muscles, think of your muscles. There is muscle all over our body. 77% of our body is made up of water. And if we are stressed, or we drink alcohol, or we drink caffeine, or we didn't sleep very good at night, we are dehydrated when we wake up. And if your muscles live in water, because our water is 77%, our body is 77%, our muscles like a plant. So our muscles have fibers and they go back and forth to move like this. So if we are dehydrated, the muscles can't move back and forth as easily. They get stuck. So think of a plant. If you don't water the plant shrivels up and eventually dies. The muscles are the same way. The muscles don't die, but they shrivel up and it gets harder and harder to burn fat. So if you drink water, you'll fuel the muscle and hydrate that muscle so it doesn't have to work so hard and you burn more calories. So a few tricks about water, because it's not just as simple as just make sure you drink some water and go out about your day. The first most important thing to do is right when you wake up, have a glass right next to your bed and drink 8 ounces of water first thing, because we've all been sleeping, hopefully anywhere between 8 to 12 hours is the new recommendation. 6 is no longer healthy. So if we're all sleeping right around that 8 to 10 hours a night, and even if it's less, you're more dehydrated. We are waking up with a very dehydrated body. And we get out of the bed and we expect our body to move. We expect to get in the shower, get breakfast, get to work, or whatever we may do. So drink 8 ounces of water first thing when you first wake up. Before your coffee, drink that water because you're going to hydrate those muscles so they move easier throughout your day. Okay, trick 1, 8 ounces of water first thing waking up. Second thing is make sure that if you're having coffee or a caffeinated tea or whatever your beverage choice is in the morning, if it's carbonated or caffeinated, you will need to have 2 cups of water for every 1 cup of caffeinated product. Caffeine is a stimulant. It jumpstarts the body to wake up. It revs you up. That's why a lot of us crave that coffee. But if you have a dehydrated body when you wake up and you didn't eat, you've jump-started your body to burn what? Muscle mass, because there's nothing in your body to burn other than muscle mass. So by hydrating the body with the water, first thing, then ideally eat something, it could be small, then have your coffee or your caffeinated tea, then you've jump-started your body to burn a hydrated machine to burn fat or the food that you just ate. You don't want to jump out of bed and have your cup of coffee first thing on a dehydrated body because you've jump-started your body to burn the muscle mass. And we're trying to save that muscle mass, okay? So for every 1 cup of caffeinated or carbonated beverage, you need to have 2 cups of water to hydrate it. And you also need to eat something before your caffeine. It doesn't have to be a full-blown breakfast. You don't have to make the eggs and the potato and the bacon. It could be a half of a banana. It could be a piece of bread with some peanut butter on it. It could be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It could be a bagel and cream cheese. It could be a protein bar or a Nutri-Grain bar as you run out the door. It could be a protein shake. You want something first thing in the morning to start the body to burn fat. You have what's called the Krebs cycle, and I'm not going to get into all the detail of that, but basically what this means is, and we can throw in fasting or intermittent fasting, basically, if you don't eat anything, you burn your fat stores and your muscle stores. So as soon as you eat something or you break your fast, you need a little bit of something, a little bit of a carbohydrate to rev up the stomach, the Krebs cycle, to help you burn fat. You don't start burning fat until you open up the Krebs cycle. So, and that's with a carbohydrate. Okay. So the idea behind intermittent fasting is you don't break your fast for whatever, 12, 16 hours. You force your body to burn the stored glucose, glycogen, which is stored food from the night before. Then you get into your fat stores. So think of it as this way. If you wake up, have your 8 ounces of water, have a small half of a piece of fruit or something, get the body woken up and awake, to burn fat, then have your caffeine and your carbonated product to jumpstart the body to burn that fat for you. Okay, so the other things that we have to worry about when it comes to water is exercise. It is easier to lose weight without exercise because the body loves nutrition to be consistent. It wants to know when it's going to eat, what it's going to eat, how, where, what, all that good stuff. With exercise, the body loves to be shocked. However, when the body gets shocked, it gets stressed. So we need to fuel our body appropriately for the exercise. So if you are someone who wakes up first thing in the morning, you're going to need water before exercise. And you also want to eat before your exercise to help that body burn fat. Because if you wake up and eat nothing and jump started on a treadmill or the bike or whatever, you're stimulating your body to burn muscle mass, and you're trying to build muscle mass at the same time you're burning it. It's not going to work. Small, you could have a handful of some nuts, a half a banana, something little to help your body burn fat when you jump on that treadmill. And then the water before, 24 ounces of water, 2 hours before exercise. That may not be doable in the morning if you wake up early, but you need water before you exercise, during your exercise, and after the exercise. And we tend to not to drink a lot of water. How much water do we need? Take your body weight, cut it in half. And that's the amount of ounces of water you need a day, the minimum amount. So let's say you weigh 160 pounds, you divide it in half, that's 80 ounces of water a day. That does not include the lack of sleep, the stress, the caffeine, the alcohol, the salt, and the sugar that you consume. So always check with your doctor if you're on any type of medication or diuretic, because we don't want any interactions there. But generally speaking, you take your body weight, divide it by half. That's the minimum amount of ounces you need during the day. And we need to drink the water all day long. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, I will be in the bathroom all day long, because I get that question all the time. The good news is it takes 3 days to expand and shrink your stomach and your bladder. So yes, the very first day you might be in the bathroom more often than what you were before, but that's good. You want to excrete the toxins. You want to get rid of all that stuff. You want to hydrate it. You got to get rid of it. So, but the good news is it only takes 3 days, and then your bladder will adjust. So don't go overboard on the water because of electrolytes, and we want to make sure you're balanced. But generally speaking, you want water all throughout the day, on the hour. There's wonderful apps that you can play around with. You can set a timer on your watch, and it reminds you to drink. So you want water all day long, consistently. A lot of us tend to drink water in the morning time, and then we kind of slide off right around 4 o'clock, which is really funny because that's when we start craving salts and sugars, which we're going to get to in just a second. So the water consistently throughout the day will help hydrate your body so that when you're tired, it will burn more fat. Because remember, when you're tired, the body's tired and doesn't want to work. So you want to make sure that you are hydrated every hour during the day. And your bladder will adjust for 3 days. Okay? So play around with the water. A lot of people who add water to their day will instantly feel more energized, because your body doesn't have to work so hard because the muscles are hydrated, okay? That's all about water. A lot of information on water. It is the most important nutrient for the body. The second most important nutrient for the body, and I believe is the secret to weight loss, I've been a dietitian for over 20 years, is, anybody guess it? Fiber. I know, nothing fancy. There's no magical ingredient here. Fiber. Fiber, I cannot stress the importance of fiber. Fiber is in fruits, and it's in vegetables, and it's in some of your grains. It fills up your belly. It slows down the digestive system. For example, for a snack, if you have potato chips, how fast can you eat those potato chips? How fast do you digest those potato chips? Pretty fast. Under 10 minutes probably. Let's say you have carrots. How fast do you eat carrots? How fast do you think you digest those carrots? It's a lot slower. So when the body has to work a little harder to break down the fiber, it will burn more calories and it burns more fat and it fills you up. So fiber helps slow down digestive system to help you absorb nutrients which become vital and super important as we age. It also helps regulate bowel movements. That's what most of us know about fiber. But the other thing that fiber does is it balances blood sugar. If you know at 3-4 o'clock you have a sugar craving and you cannot walk past that candy dish or your kitchen, depending on where you're working from right now, chances are you are low in fiber at breakfast or that 10 a.m. snack, because fiber fills you up and stabilizes blood sugars. If you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, fiber will help you out tremendously by stabilizing blood sugars. So let's, for example, go into a little bit about blood sugars. So your body goes up and down as we eat in terms of carbohydrates. As soon as we eat, our blood sugars raise to help digest and break down that sugar. And then all of a sudden, within 10-15 minutes, our body comes down. Some of us have had that feeling where we go to get some M&Ms and all of a sudden we have this instant rush for about 10-15 minutes and all of a sudden we're back down in the dumps again. Headache, depression, or fatigue, or just doesn't feel good. So our blood sugars go up every day and down all day long when we eat sugar. Fiber will come along and stabilize that for us. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you want those potato chips, we have to add fiber to it. So try to add, which may not taste great, but try to add like peanuts to the potato chips, or popcorn and potato chips, because popcorn has fiber in it. Carrots and hummus, high fiber plus protein. Protein also stabilizes blood sugars. We want our blood sugars consistent throughout the day because we burn more fat. Our blood sugars, if they move up and down all day long, the body gets tired and says, I can't deal with this right now. I'm just gonna deal with it tomorrow, just like when we get stressed. So the body doesn't burn fat if it's stressed out. So increasing fiber. Most of us need 25 to 35 grams a day, depending on our age and our height and our weight, but anywhere between the 25 to 38 grams. That's a lot of fiber. The easiest way to get your fiber intake in is by adding a fruit or vegetable or a whole grain pretty much with every meal or snack throughout the day. You want to keep those blood sugars as stable as possible. The other way to stabilize blood sugars throughout the day is to make sure you eat every couple hours. It doesn't have to be a lot. If you let's say you're eating 1,800 calories a day, you don't need to count, but let's just say you're about 1,800 calories a day. You are better off, you will burn more fat if you break that up into 6 small meals rather than 3 big meals. Because your body will be stabilized to help burn fat. It won't go up and down to keep digesting foods and then plummeting and then digesting and then plummeting. Okay, I don't know if that made any sense. So by eating small meals and snacks every 2 to 3 hours, you'll keep your body burning fat because your blood sugars will be stabilized. Higher fiber foods will also balance out your blood sugars so you burn more fat. There are 2 types of fiber. You have soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber is your watery fibers like fruit. Your insoluble fibers are like they don't dissolve in water, so it's like your broccoli and your whole grains. You need both. And the only reason why I bring this up is because a lot of us get constipated or we feel bloated, and that's sometimes too much insoluble fiber. So you need both. You need the watery fiber fruits and then also the insoluble fiber, the grains, and then you won't get so constipated, okay? Carbohydrates, we kind of already went down this road just a tad. The only thing I want to say for carbs is there's simple and there's complex. Simple is your white refined sugars. This is excellent right before an exercise program, something that doesn't take a lot to digest. If you do have low blood sugar or you have a craving, a quick, simple carbohydrate will give you that burst of energy. However, it will not sustain you and your body will go back into muscle wasting. So a complex carbohydrate, which is, guess what? Fiber. Complex carbohydrates are high fiber. They slow down that digestive system and they help reduce those sugar cravings. So you want to eat complex carbohydrates throughout the day, whole wheat products, dark green vegetables, steel cut oats, granola, and not so much of the white refined carbohydrates. We digest white refined carbohydrates super fast. So if you're going to have a banana, please don't think that banana should fill you up for 5 hours. It's not going to happen. That banana might fill you up for 30 minutes. So we could put a fiber and a protein with it to help stabilize the blood sugars, which will sustain it longer. Okay? Speaking of protein, we get enough protein. Most of us are very conscientious of the protein powders, protein everything. There's so much protein out here. We're pretty much good on protein. But protein is huge for building up muscles, transporting nutrients, all that muscle stuff. It includes poultry, fish, cheese, yogurt, eggs, beans, tofu, nuts, seeds, peanut butter. There's protein powders, there's protein bar. There's just so much protein. The biggest thing with protein is you always pair it up with a carbohydrate. So a potato. Potato is quick digesting, quick absorbing. Throw some a little bit of sour cream or some meat with that potato, and then it will stabilize blood sugars and burn more fat throughout the day. You always eat a protein and a carb together. You could have protein by itself, but try not to have a carbohydrate by itself, okay? Be careful with protein powders and bars. Some of them are pretty full of a lot of chemicals and on those food labels. So if you're going to try those protein bars and protein powders, make sure you read the label, less than 10 ingredients, and make sure you can pronounce everything. If you can't, you can always Google it and find out what it does to you, because it may not be healthy for you. So just be careful. That our few food manufacturers have just bombarded the supermarkets with protein everything. Be careful with protein as well, because we need to drink water. It is very difficult for us to digest protein. The kidneys, so if you're looking into more of that keto type of diet, just drink a ton of water. The kidneys have to break down protein and filter it out, and it's so incredibly difficult for the kidneys to do it. So don't go too heavy on the protein. Make sure that you don't, those protein powders can be loaded. So just be careful and drink water with protein foods. Easy ways to pump up protein without powders is cheese, eggs, peanut butter, cheese crackers, beans, milk. These, once again, adding a little bit of protein at your snacks with just a piece of cheese is all you need for a snack to keep that body burning fat. Protein builds muscle. So if you eat a lot of carbohydrates, you will not build as much muscle as if you had a higher protein diet. The crucial time to have protein is if you do strength train. If you are strength training, have protein within 30 minutes after your strength training program, because it will refuel, recover, and rebuild that muscle. Protein is the only one that does that. So make sure you are eating your protein. The next nutrient is fat. I don't talk a whole lot about fat because most of us are fat phobic. We're kind of health conscious on the fat. But the reason why I do talk about fat is because it takes one to know one. So fat burns fat. So if you have a higher fat intake, you will burn more fat. There is a slight trick to the fat intake though, because you want to make sure that it's heavily on the polyunsaturated fat and the monounsaturated fat. These lower cholesterol, these lower heart disease, these are phenomenal fats. Your salmons, your olive oils, your nuts, your seeds, sunflower seeds, peanut butter. These are fantastic fats. If you want to add more of the polymonounsaturated fat, all you have to do is look up Mediterranean foods or diets, and they are loaded in the poly and the mono. Your saturated fat, which is the lard, the butter, sugar, that all increases heart disease and clogs arteries. So we want to decrease our saturated fat, increase our poly and mono to help with lower heart disease as well as cholesterol. Fat is good. A lot of us try to stay away from fat, but fat burns fat. We need fat to lubricate the muscles, the joints, to fill us up. Fat also stabilizes blood sugar. So if you know you don't have a lot of fibrous foods around town, around your house, then you can increase your fat intake for the day, and it will fill you up so you don't munch on all those simple carbohydrates, which basically just lead to higher sugar and unstable blood sugars. So fat stabilizes blood sugar. So fat burns fat. Just make sure it's a healthy fat. And you don't need a lot. A little bit of fat goes a long way. You could have a little bit of avocado on a piece of bread for breakfast. Done. You could have some nuts, trail mix for a snack at 3, 4 o'clock. And if you know you have a sugar craving, add a few little dried pieces of fruit or some M&Ms. You don't have to stay away from the sugar, but pair it up with a protein and a fat so you don't eat the whole bag. Carrots, you can add carrots with some olive oil on it, and that gives you enough fat to digest the carrots. It's not a lot. A little goes a long way when it comes to fat. One of the things that we do tend to crave is salt. The more you work out, the more salt we're going to crave. The more we have sugar cravings, the more salt we crave. The reason why is your body loves to be balanced. It loves to be homeostasis. Why? Because it will burn fat when we're balanced. We like to be balanced in our lives. So does our food. So what do I mean by that? If you go out to eat, let's say Chinese food, and you have a ton of salt in the Chinese food, you will automatically want to order dessert. The restaurants know this, and that's why they all have dessert menus. So the more salt that they put in their foods, the more you're going to crave desserts. Because when you're heavy on the salt, you're going to crave the sugar to put your body in homeostasis, because that's where your body wants to be. So what do? Drink water. Simple as that. The more water you drink with sodium to flush it out of your body, the less likely you are you're going to crave sugars. So if you know you're having those potato chips and they're just, oh, you love that salt craving, pair it up with a protein, fat or fiber, and drink water, and you're not going to crave the sugar. Okay? So you want your sodium to be under 2,500 milligrams. If you have high blood pressure, talk to your doctor, because some of it's usually less. You want to change out your sodium foods. Read your food labels. There is salt in foods you wouldn't even realize. Milk is a big one. Yogurt's one. White rice. Diet sodas. Potatoes. They're all popcorn. Try to get unsalted or drink water for salt. So just to recap before we're going to switch gears into nutrition, is just always try to add more fiber and fruits and vegetables and whole grains to your whole entire day. If you love white rice, change it to brown rice 2 times a week. If you love bananas, try to color up your fruits a little bit. Add plums, pineapple, I don't know why I'm drawing up with strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. Just by changing the color of your fruit, you will increase the antioxidants in your body, which will help you reduce your stress. Antioxidants are powerful, especially right now with all the stress that all of us are under. Change up the colors of your vegetables. Orange vegetables are really great. That beta carotene, they help with eyes. They help with the health of your skin. Dark green leafy vegetables takes that acidic. If you love sugar, you're more acidic. The body's more acidic. And once again, the body wants to be homeostasis. So by adding dark green vegetables to your diet, you'll move that body into an alkaline state to help burn more fat. So vary up your proteins. Have fun. If you eat chicken every night, try to have red meat once a week. Get that red blood cells into the body, because it helps with energy. Change it up to a steak. It could be organic, grass-fed, whatever your goals may be. But have fun with food. Try fish once or twice a week for the omega-3, omega-6, which helps a healthy brain and help you focus. Try plant-based proteins. There's a ton: tofu, seitan, beans, a ton of plant-based proteins. Try to change up your proteins or your meals, your dinners, your proteins at your dinners once or twice a week. Have fun with it. So the more variety that you add in your day, the more nutrient dense your body will be. If you're eating the same thing over and over every single day, you're going to start having nutrition deficiencies. So you want to make sure you vary up your fruits and your vegetables and your protein sources. Carbs, not so much, because we burn our carbs pretty quick, so you don't have to worry about it. But to get more fiber, change all your white into whole grains. Eat at least 3 ounces of whole grain cereal, bread, crackers, and rice or pasta every single day. Carbohydrates are getting such a bad rap right now, and I cannot stress you enough that we need carbohydrates. We just need to eat them a little bit all day long so our body burns them and we don't store them as fat. If you eat protein all day long and then you have a large dinner with vegetables and rice and some wine and alcohol in the evening, well, you ate a lot of carbs at night and you didn't eat a lot in the breakfast time. So when you've trained your body to eat off little carbohydrates during the day, and then when you're relaxed and you had a large amount of carbohydrates, your body sits there and says, well, I didn't need them earlier. Why do I need them now? I'm just going to store them as fat. So you can train your body to use those carbohydrates all throughout the day when you're most active. I always say, if you love pizza or you love sugar, you have your favorite carbohydrate foods, eat them at lunch because you're the most active and you'll burn it off. It won't sustain. It won't turn as fat in the body. So make sure we're eating enough carbohydrates, because the other reason is your brain only digests carbohydrates. So if you're having a lot of headaches and you're having trouble focusing, you need to increase your carbs a little bit with each meal and snack every 2 to 3 hours. Keep that body burning fat and keep the brain thinking and burning carbohydrates so they don't turn into fat. Okay, drink water and make sure you have fat, because fat burns fat, those poly and those monounsaturated fat. So overall, when it's all said and done, try to eat less crap, carbonated drinks, refined sugar, artificial sweeteners and colors, and processed foods. Eat more fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, omega-3 fatty acids, which is found in fish, and some vegetables, and then also drink water. All right, that is all that's on food. We're now switching over to what can we do in terms of exercise. First and foremost, exercise is any time the body moves, regardless if you are taking the stairs, dog walking, gardening, increases body movement. So if you know you are a type of person who does not like to go to the gym, don't go. I mean, there's so much you can do. Park your car farther away, walk up and down the stairs, move every 10 minutes. Like I said, watches have phenomenal reminders lately. Just try to move the body more, and you will burn more calories. But exercise, if you are a person who loves to exercise, it's specifically planned, it's structured, it's repetitive, it's weight training, it's aerobics. We need all of it to help burn fat and increase the internal health, decrease cholesterol, decrease heart disease, decrease diabetes, decrease depression, decrease your risk of cancer, arthritis. So not only does eating healthy help increase your health, so does exercise. Most of your exercise, 80% of your nutrition will help your health. 20% of exercise helps your health. So if you know you can't do both right now and you only can tackle one because life is hectic right now, focus more on the nutrition side. And then maybe increase your physical activity, the walking of the stairs. But if you've got nutrition down or you don't want to deal with nutrition, then you focus a little bit more on your exercise. Both is going to help with weight control, increase your metabolism because you're going to build more muscle. All of a sudden we get increase in self-esteem, energy, all of it. Immune system, we all need to work on increasing our immune system to help off any viruses that may come our way. So physical activity will help with weight loss and increase your internal health. Exercise will also do that. So either one you choose, you win. It's a win-win. You do want to increase your metabolism. That is the end goal, because when you increase your metabolism, you'll burn more fat. So one of the ways that I already mentioned is you start moving your body more often. That's going to increase muscle mass. Just by walking up and down stairs 10 times versus 2, that changes the muscle mass in the legs. If you decide to do physical activity, cardio and strength training, you increase your intensity, which therefore increases your muscle mass. So the whole point of physical activity and exercise is to build muscle, and which then you get all those health benefits that come along with it. So muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle starts decreasing by 8% per, research has stated that muscle mass loss occurs approximately at 40 years of age and 8% per decade until the age of 70. After 70, the loss increases to 15%. So for some of you who says, man, I was so strong and then I took 2 weeks off when I went on vacation or I got sick, and you lost all of it. It happens fast. It happens fast. So we want to make sure that we just stay on an exercise program. Exercise increases the metabolism. It strengthens bones. You have to use your exercise. You have to use your muscles. Otherwise, you lose it every day. So 1 pound of fat versus 1 pound of muscle. Muscle is 18% more dense to fat. So that is why the scale may not drop. A lot of us get discouraged because when we work out, the scale goes up. And it goes up for 2 reasons. 1, water. When we build more muscle, what does the muscle need to grow? Protein and water. So our body's going to conserve water to help build and repair and recover the muscle. It is a good thing when that scale goes up after you start a strength training program. The other thing is that muscle is covers less surface area. So you may see your clothes fit a lot better before you see the scale drop, because you're turning the fat into muscle cells. You have muscle cells and fat cells in the body. They don't ever really go away, but they shrink and they expand. So we want our muscles to expand and our fat cells to shrink, so we see more results in the way we look, the way we feel, the way our clothes fit. So I always often tell people, try to stay off that scale when you're working on your health. Go by inches if you want to take your inches around your arms, your chest, your hips, your thighs, your legs. And then also go by your clothes. If you have a pair of jeans that you've been trying to fit in for a while, use that as your gauge. Try not to use that scale, because the scale can be very detrimental to our mental health. We do have 2 types of fat on our body. We have visceral fat and our subcutaneous fat. The visceral fat is the fat that increases around our internal organs, therefore increasing heart disease, cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes. So we want to make sure that we can't choose which fat we burn, but overall, if you exercise and eat healthy, we will decrease the visceral fat, which is the highest risk for all those chronic diseases, and we keep the subcutaneous fat. So the visceral fat is the internal organ, around the internal organ, and an exercise program plus healthy eating will decrease that faster. And we need to make sure we watch out for our visceral fat, and that's where that skinny fat, I mentioned earlier, the skinny fat, you could be the healthy weight and still have higher amounts of visceral fat, and you will have an increased risk of heart disease and cholesterol. So exercise and eating healthy will decrease your visceral fat, which will decrease all those chronic health diseases. Exercise improves your mood. It stimulates your brain. It releases endorphins. It makes you feel good. Once again, it doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 5 minutes of walking up the stairs. You'll automatically feel better because you produced endorphins into the brain. It increases your self-confidence. So once you get started, you're going to stay started. You're going to keep going. It's the hardest part is to get started. And when we get started, we tend to pick these large goals of running a marathon. We can't start there because it's never going to happen. We got to start with, let's go for a walk 5 minutes today. And that 5 minutes will turn into 10, 15, 20, 25 until all of a sudden you're starting running miles. So just get started because it will increase the brain and your mood, and you'll feel better about yourself. Strength training enhances the quality of life because it improves everyday function. For those of us who have trouble going up and down the stairs, if we add a little strength training to our exercise program, you'll see that improve, and therefore we feel better about ourselves. You want to increase that muscle mass. So if you're doing a ton of cardio right now, add a little bit of strength training. Could be anything. Arms, squats, it could be anything. If you add a little bit of strength training to increase muscle mass, you will feel better because you're going to increase your physical activity, and your everyday life gets a little on the easier side with these activities going up and down stairs. Most of us love cardio because we want our brain to release stress, but cardio burns muscle. So if you know you're on that elliptical and treadmill for an hour and you're not seeing results, try to get off of it and add some strength training in there. Add some squats, some step ups, some lunges. Doesn't have to be a lot. A little goes a long way when it comes to strength training. Exercise also increases continuing the cognitive function back to the brain. It starts deteriorating at the age of 25, so we need to feed it carbohydrates and we need to exercise it. Cardio fatigues the brain pretty quick. So cardio is great. However, it fatigues it. So if you're doing a lot of cardio, you may need some extra carbs to fuel the brain. If you're doing more strength training, you're going to build that muscle because the brain is muscle. You're going to build the muscle. I mean, you can't build your brain, but you can build muscle to help increase your awareness and your focus, and stay on track with your exercise and your nutrition goals. Just one more, I don't know why there's so many slides on brain, but improves overall brain performance, higher thinking, quick decisions, planning, memory, creativity. The reason why there's all these slides on brain is because exercise has the most amount of effect when it comes to your brain. Exercise, we don't get a mental high when we eat fruit. I mean, we don't walk into the kitchen and eat an apple and be like, wow, I ate an apple. You go, woohoo. It just doesn't happen. But when we go and work out, we walk out of the gym and we're like, yes, nailed it. So that's why exercise becomes a huge part on the brain, because it just makes us feel better and produces all those lovely chemicals that was on the last slide, BNF and all that, to help us stay on track and feel good about ourselves. Half the battle is feeling good about ourselves when it comes to nutrition and exercise. Exercise also boosts your energy. It improves muscle strength, your endurance, delivers nutrients. So back to that fiber slowing down your digestive system. The more we exercise, the more our body can absorb and digest nutrients, which is huge. Prevents injuries. It makes us stronger so we don't slip and fall and break a hip or tear our ACL or meniscus. It helps us strengthen our bones and our joints around it and lubricates it so we don't have as many risk in injuries. It increases our lung function, which is fantastic. Helps us breathe. Exercise and eating healthy actually helps us sleep. And I said earlier, we need 8 to 10 hours of sleeping. I cannot stress sleep enough. Sleeping is where we rest and digest. So back to the intermittent fasting. I am a big believer in letting your body rest and digest. What do I mean by that? I mean, cut your food off at a certain time. You can choose when, whatever fits your schedule. If you eat dinner at 5 o'clock and you're done by 7, then try not to eat from 10 hours or 12 hours. Give your body time to relax, rest, and digest. Anywhere between 10 to 12 hours of fasting at night will drop your insulin levels, diabetes, sugar, to help you burn fat. If you're eating or drinking right before bed, your body's tired, it's exhausted, and you're going to bed and you expect it to burn that fat, the food that you just ate. It's not going to happen. The body is meant to repair for the following day. So try to give your body a break and let it rest and digest and get rid of everything you ate during the day so it could restart tomorrow. That's the importance of sleep. I mean, it helps rest our brain too and help reset all the chemical reactions going in our body. But a lot of it is just let the body relax. You need a break and your body needs a break. So intermittent fasting for 10 to 12 hours, sundown, whatever you want to say, 10 to 12 hours, I'm a big proponent of it. Let the body rest and digest. Exercise does help you fall asleep faster and also deeper. Strength training. So many of us forget about strength training. Especially women. I don't know. They're afraid that if they increase weight too much, they're going to get like huge muscles, which can't happen. I mean, it can if you're lifting, if you're worried about a 10-pound bicep curl, which is, the arms straight up here, you're not going to get muscles unless you lift like a 45-pound barbell. So some women are a little bit more concerned by lifting weights, but I'm here to tell you that strength training is more beneficial for you as we age than cardio. I'm not saying get rid of cardio. Cardio helps the heart. Cardio helps your endurance. Cardio helps your stress. But strength training helps you build muscle to burn fat and increase the health of your internal and external body, along with balance, stronger bones, coordination, flexibility, posture. So adding this strength training is huge. And I know some of you are sitting here like, holy cow, she wants me to eat 6 times a day. She wants me to drink water all day long. And she wants me to now do cardio and strength training. Yes, but Plan it out. Water, plan it with each of your meals. Protein and carbohydrate every 2 to 3 hours. Increase your fiber slowly on a daily basis. The food, the body doesn't want to be shocked, so it wants to be consistent. Just vary up your foods a little bit on a weekly basis. If you buy blueberries this week, buy blackberries next week. It doesn't have to be, all or nothing with nutrition. Exercise, all you got to do is move. It doesn't matter what you do, just try to move the body a little bit more during the day. So the more you move, the more you lose. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. I mean, the muscle mass is not staying on the body forever. We see that on Survivor. We see it in our older relatives. They get they lose their muscle definition. Health problems such as arthritis and soreness may decrease exercise. It will. Regular physical activity can help boost memory, improve balance, and prevent depression. Exercise 30 minutes, 5 days a week. 30 minutes of walking the dog, 30 minutes of doing the dishes, 30 minutes of gardening, 30 minutes of a cardio, anything, 30 minutes on a daily basis. Now, what's awesome about that is you can choose on how you do your 30 minutes. Research has shown over and over that you don't have to do it all in one burst of time. If you don't have 30 minutes to spare in your day, wake up and do 10 minutes in the morning. Do 10 minutes at lunch, 10 minutes after work. You don't have to do a full 30 minutes. In fact, research has shown that you actually burn more fat by breaking it up. Running burns more muscle mass. So if you're not a runner, please don't start. Walking burns more fat than running. Running has other benefits, but walking burns more fat. So just walk, 5 minutes throughout the day. Add strength training 2 to 3 times during the week. So you could do cardio on Monday, strength train Tuesday, cardio Wednesday, strength train Thursday, cardio Friday, take Saturday, Sunday off. So it doesn't have to be every single day for an hour. We have this in our head. Eat less, exercise more. Yoga is a huge benefit in terms of exercise. If you don't want to sweat because you don't like to, yoga and meditation burns as much calories as walking does because it just helps calm and relax the body to help you burn fat. That homeostasis is huge. As always, before you do any exercise program, you should always check with your doctor to make sure that you are ready to do that. In terms of exercising, let's say you are a person who loves exercise and you are that person who wakes up every morning or at night and gets to that gym. Change up your routine. If you've been doing the same thing for over 3 weeks, your body is not getting as much benefit out of it. Let's say you're walking on the treadmill and you've been doing that for a month now. Your body became a pro at walking on the treadmill and it won't burn as many calories. And a lot of us will see it with these heart rate monitors. We will see the first time we walked, we burned 300 calories. And then, 3 weeks later, it's 150 because your body became efficient and it figured it out. So change it up, add body weight exercises. When you walk 10 minutes, maybe do 10 push-ups on the wall or on the floor, on your knees, and then walk. If you change up your exercise, the strength train, the duration of your walk with a little bit of strength training in there, you will see a lot more results. Resistance tubing, if you are a person who does a lot of strength training, change it up to some bands. It's a totally different workout and you're going to shock the body and burn more calories. You can use free weights, your body weight. You can use weight machines if you're uncomfortable on strength training programs. And there's always help. There's Google, there's YouTube. You can call me and I'll help you with the strength training program because a lot of people are shy or worried when it comes to strength training. However, the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to strength training is interval training. I cannot stress this enough. If you are a person who is walking on that treadmill for 45 minutes and you're not feeling a burn and you are not sore the next day, you're wasting your time. You're going to increase your heart function, which is fantastic, but change it up. I'm a big believer in a HIIT workout. Doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 10 minutes. What do? You walk for a minute, then you get off and you do squats. Walk for the second minute, and then you get off and you do some push-ups. Walk for a minute and you go up and down the stairs. Walk for a minute and you do some crunches. Walk for a minute and you hold a plank. This type of training is huge. You can determine on if you want 10, 20, 30 minutes. That's up to you. But in interval training, where your heart rate comes up and goes down, heart rate and goes up, you will see the most beneficial, most bang for your buck, most strength training, and most of endurance cardio improvement in your entire body. I love interval training. This is fantastic for people who don't have a lot of time. It could be 5 minutes. It does not have to be an hour. You don't have to do everything on this slide. I just gave you some ideas of what you can do. I just Googled these. These all came off Pinterest. This is the way to go if you don't have a lot of time. I love interval training. Absolutely. Just make sure you have a carbohydrate before you interval train to get that body burning fat when you're doing all that good stuff. Strength training, you can do 5 minutes of a warm-up, 20 minutes of cardio, 30 minutes of a body part each day, or you can break it down into total body. What I said earlier, cardio, strength, cardio, strength. If you don't have a lot of time, I suggest cut the cardio out and just do the strength training. You will get your heart rate up with full body movements, like a squat, like a lunge, walking up and down the stairs. You don't need all the cardio to help burn fat. The strength training will do it because you're building muscle, which is going to burn fat. The key to exercise is make it short and intense to what you are comfortable with. Make sure you eat a carbohydrate within 30 minutes before you exercise. Drink your water all during the exercise and then after. And then make sure you have a meal within 30 minutes of finishing your exercise. Fuel the body to repair, recover, and rebuild during your exercise program. It doesn't have to be a lot. A little goes a long way. And you only have to do it 3 to 4 times a week. And it could be anything you want. So balance your physical activity with a healthy diet. Fueling your body correctly is huge. I cannot stress that enough. If you're waking up in the morning and you're hopping on the treadmill and you're running 5 miles and you're not eating and you're not drinking water, and then you rush out of the house to do whatever you need to do and you didn't eat, you have done a huge stress on that body that cannot repair and recover for the next workout. So oftentimes we're fatigued or we're super sore because we didn't fuel the body correctly. So by eating 30 minutes before, carbohydrate only with water during the exercise, and then protein in the carb meal after your exercise, you will see a huge difference in your intensity, in your energy levels, and also your muscle, your definition on the body to build it. And then also your blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes and your BMI, it'll all be fantastic. Set goals to be physically active within 30 minutes every day. And like I said, it doesn't have to be everything I'm talking about. It could be just gardening. That's hard work. If you are currently inactive, start with a few minutes of activity during the day. Get up and move that body. The more you move, the more you burn. Always check with your doctor to make sure that you are ready and comfortable with exercise. Every time you eat, it's an opportunity to nourish your body. Please remember that. If you're eating potato chips, ask yourself how much nutritional value is in this potato chip, and is it fueling my body to help me be healthy? If it's no, then add something to it. You don't have to get rid of it. You don't have to restrict it, but add some nuts to it to give you the nourishment that your body needs. If you have any questions regarding anything that I said today about exercise and nutrition, feel free to email me, alberg@elb-consulting.com. I have a website, my phone number. I'm on everything, all social media, and a newsletter giving out tips and tricks to help fuel your body and exercise to help you increase the health of your internal and external body. And then another thing you can do for yourself is to save these dates to get your biometric screening to find out what is the internal health of your body. Knowing you have blood pressure or cholesterol or diabetes, your BMI, it gives you a starting place to set a goal on what you want to do and change to help the body become more healthy. And then so you can look at the village, the location, there's your dates and your times. Check your emails because there's going to be a ton of emails with registrations to remind you to sign up for one of these dates so you can understand your internal health, because your internal health is just as important as your external health. I thank you all for your time. I hope everybody learned something to apply to their day today, right here and right now.